Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889 in the town of Braunau am Inn. He was the son of his father, Alois Hitler, and his third wife, Clara Pölzl. The name Adolf, meaning noble wolf in Old German, was known only as Adi among his family. His father, Alois Hitler, died in 1903, before Hitler had even begun his life. The cause of death was stated as heart attack. 4 years later, his mother died in 1907. The cause of death was determined to be breast cancer. Clara's death was an important period in which Adolf Hitler lived deeply, and the loss of his mother changed him. After losing his family, Hitler moved to Munich in May 1912. Despite being unfit for military service, he volunteered for the German army when World War I started. During the war, he lost a testicle. Hitler, as a corporal, served on the Western Front in 1917, where a twist of fate changed his life. While several of his friends died in an explosion, Hitler emerged unscathed. Towards the end of the war, he faced a mustard gas attack, worsening his condition. Hitler, shocked by the news of Germany's surrender while in the hospital, experienced temporary blindness. This period in the hospital was a turning point in Hitler's life, sparking an internal awakening. The challenging war experiences instilled in him a desire to save his nation and transform it into a world power. His temporary blindness marked the beginning of an internal enlightenment, and during this tough time, Hitler developed a vision fueled by growing ambition. As Hitler rose in the political arena, his speeches became infused with hateful rhetoric. He emphasized the necessity of cleansing the country of Jews, seeking revenge for Germany's humiliation, and restoring national dignity. These speeches deeply affected party members and the Munich public. Shortly thereafter, Hitler became the leader of the party, and it was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as the Nazis. In the early 1920s, the Workers' Party began to grow by mingling with the public. Hitler constantly expressed the need to eliminate the enslaving Treaty of Versailles and garnered support for nullifying the agreement. However, realizing that coming to power through elections seemed unlikely, Hitler saw only one option: a coup. To carry out a coup, he needed the support of the military, an extremely challenging and seemingly impossible task. Undeterred, Hitler, with his strategic intelligence and charismatic leadership, was determined to overcome this difficulty. Over time, Hitler's political ascent reflected his ambitious, yet dangerous plans coming to fruition. Feeling the need to create his own army, Hitler presented his idea to the party leadership. He was introduced to Hermann Göring, a hero of World War I who would later lead the Luftwaffe. Göring carefully listened to Hitler's plans during their meeting and saw the party as a means to achieve his own ideals. Göring agreed to lead the militia force that Hitler proposed and joined the Nazi Party in early 1923. Göring swiftly trained and organized the 5,000-member force into a regular army, known as the SA, Sturmabteilung, identified by their brown shirts. Hitler now possessed a powerful force capable of staging a coup. On the evening of November 8, 1923, with Göring's 600-strong SA force, Hitler marched through the streets of Munich, storming the Bavarian government meeting. They took political leaders hostage, and when Hitler arrived at the government building, he offered officials the choice to join and support the coup. However, met with a negative response, a prolonged confrontation ensued, resulting in the government officials escaping Nazi custody and the army being mobilized. While the coup attempt failed, it drew more attention to Hitler in the political arena, reinforcing his determination to take steps towards realizing his ideals. With Hitler's arrest on April 1, 1924, many thought his political career had come to an end. However, during his imprisonment, Hitler seized the opportunity to write the world-famous book, Mein Kampf, and compose his autobiography. After 9 months in prison, he was released on December 20, 1924. Despite the widespread belief that his political influence had waned, the Nazi Party's performance in the 1924 elections was a major disappointment, receiving only 2.6% of the votes. Hitler decided to reorganize his party and prepare for the 1930 elections. However, the Great Depression, affecting the world in the lead-up to the elections, provided Hitler with an opportunity. The 1929 collapse of the United States stock market led to worldwide economic turmoil. Hitler used the crisis as propaganda material for his party, and in the 1930 elections, the Nazis received 18% of the votes, becoming the second largest party. Despite this success, Hitler couldn't form a coalition and remained outside the government. 2 years later, in 1932, elections were held again. Hitler organized an excellent campaign, distributing 9 million brochures nationwide and effectively conveying his plans to the public. In the 1932 elections, the Nazis received 37% of the votes, becoming the largest party. With the intervention of the British, who did not want a new war in Europe, the Sudetenland was handed over to Germany, and Hitler promised not to attack Czechoslovakia. However, shortly afterward, Hitler broke his promise and invaded the entire Czechoslovakia. The next target was to guarantee the territorial integrity of East Prussia by uniting it with the main territories. On September 1, 1939, Hitler, in an agreement with the Soviet Union, jointly invaded Poland. This event marked the beginning of World War II in Europe. England and France, responding immediately after the occupation of Poland, declared war on Germany. In response to this unexpected situation, Hitler quickly moved all of Germany's military power and resources to the west. This move signaled the outbreak of World War II marked the beginning of a historical era. Hitler, not waiting for the Allies' attack, swiftly invaded Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Then, advancing rapidly through the Ardennes, he attacked France. Hitler's armies successfully occupied France in just 20 days, securing the western border, and then turned his attention to Soviet territories. Achieving successes on the Eastern Front, Hitler expanded Nazi Germany to its widest borders until the end of 1942. However, these extensive borders posed supply problems for the German army, especially with the issue of petroleum scarcity putting Hitler in a difficult situation. To solve this problem, he attacked the Stalingrad region of the Soviet Union, known for its rich oil reserves, but failed to succeed. In early 1943, due to a Soviet counteroffensive, he had to retreat from the east. Meanwhile, in the Western Front, the Allies, with the entry of the United States into the war, landed in France, uniting against Hitler's power. As time passed, Hitler faced unsuccessful results on all fronts and eventually found himself trapped in Berlin. He realized that the war was lost. Not wanting to overshadow his 25 years of glorious achievements, Hitler chose death over surrender. On April 30, 1945, at the age of 56, he committed suicide, marking the end of one of the darkest periods in history. These tragic events symbolize the bitter consequences brought about by war and a totalitarian regime. If you enjoyed the content, you can support me by subscribing to my channel and hitting the like button.